Welcome to Tuesday with Terry, the podcast for getting your mind, business, and life in shape. Hosted by Terry Blachek, one of the original area developers for Orange Theory Fitness who helped launch the brand from the very beginning. He'll use his years of experience to help you shape up your mind, build strong relationships with your teams, revamp your business processes, and set down the path towards success in all aspects of your life.
Good afternoon. Welcome back to another episode or edition of Tuesday with Terry. I've been out on the road for the last couple of weeks, and I'm happy to be back, happy to be talking to you live from Austin, Texas, where the sun is hot, the barbecue is fantastic, and all the drinks are free over here. So come on over and visit us here in Austin, Texas. A couple weeks ago, I had spoken to you about maybe how to ask for the sale. And today, what I really wanted to talk to you about is how do you really do that? The last couple of episodes or podcasts we've had, I've talked about selling. And 73% of the reason a sale doesn't happen is usually because somebody doesn't really ask for the sale. So how do you ask for the sale? What I wanted to do today is I wanted to give you 12, a dozen, a dirty dozen, a good dozen, maybe even a baker's dozen. I'll throw in a bonus there perhaps. But I wanted to give you 12 ways that you can ask for the sale. Now, I want to remind you that as I speak, I'm talking specifically to, and my experience has been in the fitness business, but you can take these principles and you can apply them to any business anywhere. So how do you ask for the sale? Number one is the first thing you got to do is you got to make sure that all your team or your people, your salespeople, have a script. Otherwise, if you don't provide them with a script, they're going to come up with their own. So in our business, what we say is number one is our membership is a simple process. And in order to start that process, all I need is ... Excuse me. So you might say, all I need is a copy of your photo ID. All I need is for you to give me some personal information, your name and your address. Whatever that is, you've got to say that in a way where you're just not saying somebody is, do you want the product? Do you want the service? Shall we go ahead today? Is you have a phrase or a transitional statement. For us, our membership is a simple process. And in order to start that process, Mrs. Jones, all I need is a copy of your photo ID. Number two, I like to call it the recommendation. So a lot of times salespeople get hung up on what to say or how to ask. And so what they can do is very simply take their hand and place it over their chest because that body language indicates that it's coming from my heart. And you simply lower your voice just a little bit and say, may I make a recommendation? Based on everything you told me, John, I believe this is what you're looking for. And then let the sales associate or the salesperson make that recommendation. That's a way to ask for the sale. Number three is you probably have had a number of people buy your product or your service. And whatever that number is, if it's been 10, if it's been 100, if it's been 1,000, it doesn't matter. But use that as what I call the invitation close. We've had over 800 people sign up for our programs, John. I'd like to invite you to become 801 or whatever the number. You can find out what that number is, but invite that person to be the next person that has success, that gets benefit, that gets value from your program. Number four, simply grab the agreement, the paperwork, and you begin to start writing and ask the person how they spell their last name, Jones. Jones. Well, that's just like it sounds. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's an easy one. But hey, wherever you get stuck, a lot of times you can simply start writing paper or writing the agreement or filling or completing the agreement, and people will start asking you questions, and that will lead you to answering those questions and moving you towards the sale. Number five is giving them, I mentioned this once before, but the alternative choice question. Which one of these programs or services are right for you? Is it the Premier? Is it the Elite? Or is it the basic program? And again, I mentioned last podcast, have multiple options for people to choose from. People hate to be sold, but they love to buy. How do you get people to buy? You give them options. That's number five. Number six, ask them this question. When have you ever been this close? I know you're going to benefit, and I know you're going to see some results. We even guarantee it. How would you like your membership card to read Mrs. Jones. So the real key question there is, when have you ever been this close? You probably thought about that product. You've probably driven by the facility. You've probably been thinking about it, but finally you're this close. All it takes sometimes is a nudge, and simply by saying, when have you ever been this close, you can get people to move forward. Number 7 is what I call the 3-question close. Now for us, again, we use this. You can interchange the word health with your program or your service, but for us, we ask 3 questions that have a yes response. The first question is, are you interested in your health? Why, yes, I am, is the answer. And then the second question is, are you interested in taking better care of your health? Why, of course, I'm interested in taking better care of my health. Well, if that's true, Mrs. Jones, then let me ask you this final question. If you were ever going to start to take better care of your health, when do you think would be the best time to get started? You can insert, instead of asking about their health, you can ask and change that 3-question close to your particular business. Number 8 is what we call payments types. How would you like to take care of this, with Visa, MasterCard, or American Express? Again, that's an optional close, but it's really with the different payment types. Number 9 is what we call the agenda close. The agenda close is where you set up a series of events or a series of tasks that need to be completed in order to get that person started. So in our business, what we might say is the first thing we want to do is take care of the paperwork, and then we're going to go ahead and process the payment. We give every member a heart rate monitor. The third thing we want to do is get your heart rate monitor. And then we're going to talk to you about your friends and family, and if you want to invite any of them to come in and work out with you. And then finally, we'll get you your new VIP starter kit, and we'll get you on your way. Simply, would that be okay? But what you're doing is building a list of tasks for that person to complete. And in essence, what you're doing is you're opening up their mind to the first, the second, the third thing that it takes in order to move forward. Number 10 is always a good one. If you have any type of guarantee, or a money-back guarantee, or a 30-day guarantee, or a 3-day a right of to rescind the agreement program. Many states have that. But again, you want to remind people, number 10 is the reminder, you don't have to make your final decision today. In other words, we can go ahead and take care of all of these pieces and parts, get you going, but for any reason over the next 3 days, the next 30 days, the next 2 weeks, the next week, whatever your company guarantee is, you use that. And remember, people feel comfortable when they don't feel like they're backed into a corner. You don't have to make your final decision today. Number 11 is, I got this one from the movie Boiler Room. Ben Affleck said this, but you got to try to find a way to get to yes. And I'll go through some details on overcoming objections in the future and how to isolate and get to yes and how you do that. But right now, one of the things I learned from Boiler Room, is how do you get to a yes? If you were drowning in the ocean and I threw you a life preserver, would you go ahead and grab a hold of it? Yes, you would. You would do that. You've got to get people to start agreeing, or find ways to get people to be into agreement. And that's exactly what I'm doing here with my business. I'm providing you with a program that gives you more life, a fresh start, a new beginning, a way to plan and hit your goals. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give you accelerated results at a fraction of the cost. Now, those last couple of things are what we call piling on. When I get somebody to say yes, I start giving them all the list of values, benefits, and results-oriented things that weigh the scale in my favor. You know this. People are always weighing, they have this scale, this imaginary scale in their mind. And they're on one hand coming up with procrastination and reasons why they shouldn't do it. And on the other hand, you're trying to load up the scale on all the reasons, all the benefits about why they should do it. And that's called piling on to weight the scale. When you get somebody to a yes, you start adding value and all the great things that your business does for that particular customer. And the last one, it's a little bit tongue-in-cheek. It might work for you, it might not, but remember this, number 12. There are 7 days in a week, Mrs. Jones, and someday is not one of them. People keep putting things off. They use that procrastination, and they put off, and they put off, and they put off. But I want to remind you, is the hardest decision that you made was coming in here today. And you already made that decision, and that's the best thing, whether you move forward or whether you don't. But remember, 7 days in a week, someday isn't one of them. Let's go ahead and get you started. In any case, those are 12 things you can adapt to your own personal business. I wanted to share those with you. We use them in our business a lot. I thought you might find a couple that you could use, but hopefully you got a pocket full of ways to ask for the sale. My name's Terry. I'm your friend. Thanks a lot for tuning in.